Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jade and today I'm doing my January TBR. So it is like January 5th today, so I'm filming this a little late, which I'm taking into account when I planned the amount of books I would read. I only have 4 books here, but you'll understand why. Because I have a lot of big books I want to read this month. So the first book how far am I in this book? Like a little under 100 pages, I would say, of Pyre of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. It's huge. It's like over 800 pages, but it's really good fantasy that it has a lesbian couple, and that's all I wanted to know about when people talk about this, and I'm like, yes, I'm down. But what's really cool about this world, so it's like 5 different countries that are pretty close to each other and have like minor differences in their culture and the religion that they practice, but the religion they practice is really important because it revolves around dragons, because a couple hundred years ago ancient dragons woke up and there was a war. They raged against people and a lot of people died, but suddenly one day a huge comet passed and all the dragons went to sleep and the humans were okay, and it was prophesized that as long as the queen of like this certain bloodline was alive, as long as that bloodline was still alive, they would be safe. And as soon as that bloodline dies, the dragons will reawaken and wage war again. And the land is still suffering from the wars, as there is the dragon plague, which causes people to literally die, kind of like the Black Plague. So that's like the setting. And then there's multiple characters that we look at from different lands as well, throughout the different courts. There is a girl who is a handmaiden to the queen, who is actually the only person who is secretly protecting her and killing all the assassins sent to kill her. There's a girl who lives on an island, and she is being trained to ride dragons and is involved with another character who I don't really know for sure who he is, because there's 2 characters he could be, who is running from one court to another to warn them of the coming war, and a lot going on, and I know it's gonna be good, so I'm excited. The next book I want to read is the 3rd and final book of a reread that I started in December, and that's A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I know I can read this in like 3 days because the second I pick it up, I can't put it down, but this is also over like 800 pages, so we're getting a lot of pages read this month, which is why we have a few less books. But I have been loving this reread. It's been the highlight of my end of the year. It's been wonderful. I've cried. I've been so happy. I've loved it, and I can't wait for this 3rd and final book, which is going to be intense. But if you don't know what this series is about, it is about a girl named Feyre who hunts to protect her family and provide for them. And one day an event happens and she gets whisked away into a fairy world. And as the books progress, you get more into their politics and what is going on, and a dangerous situation that could lead to war that is brewing. And this 3rd and final book focuses on that war that's finally come. And it's really good, and I cannot wait to read more from my favorite people and to read the first part of this book because I know that she's a badass and I love it. But let's move on to the next book I really need to read as well, but I've been putting it off and I don't know why. I'm like 40 pages into this book. And that's Black Sun by Rebecca Rowanhouse. This I've heard a lot about on BookTube. It's gotten great reviews. It's a new adult fantasy that's really cool, and it's about this world where there are these prophets who said that a god will return when the earth and sky converge, which is like on an eclipse under the black sun. And there is like this holy city where this like religion is practiced called Tova, and it's about the winter solstice, which is usually a time of renewal, but the eclipse is coming up, and we get a main point of view from the lead sun priestess who like leads the whole religion. And we also get point of view from a really badass captain who's female and into girls. And another point of view is a man who is blind and has like tattoos stitched all over his body and is on a kind of religious quest that his mother sent him on. And it's all really good. And now that I've described it, I am more interested in it and I'm going to pick it up and continue to read it. But it was hard because I've been trying to pick that up in between reading the Court of Thorns and Roses series, and I think that's kind of what messed me up, and I shouldn't have done that, so that's my bad. But I can't wait to finish that with all my others. I will feel so accomplished if I get that done, because I'll have destroyed 2 giant books on my TBR list, and a really good book that I need to return to the library. And if I manage to read all those, I have another book just in case, and it's a shorter one to give me a little bit of a reprieve from all of the long books I've read. And that's Wilder Girls by Rory Power. Books and Lala has talked about this, and I really need to read it because she enjoys it, and it sounds really interesting. And it's kind of a Lord of the Flies retelling with a bunch of girls and teachers who end up getting stranded on this island. And it should be better, right? Because there's teachers alive to help keep things in line, and there's a lot of people. There's like 100 girls, so there's a lot more survivors. But then there's this, I don't even know what occurs, but I know that there's body horror and mutations that I'm guessing slowly affect the group, and I can't wait to find out more. I think it'll be really good, and it's so beautiful. Look at the colors. This green color in the background I find really appealing, and this is a beautiful cover, and I really want to read that. But those are the 4 books I'm hoping to read this January. I will be really excited when I do, and if I do, my goal for next month will be maybe to be read a bunch more books, but I wanted to get some really long ones out of the way, so I don't have any giant books yelling at me to read them anymore. But I'd like to know kind of how you're entering your new year in the comments down below. For your reading goals and stuff, what is your plan of how to get into reading? I went with take the giant ones off first and everything else will be easier, because in my head I'm like, well, I already finished the Pyre of an Orange Tree this year. This 500-page book is nothing. I can read this in a few days, and I think that'll be really inspiring for the rest of the year. So, and I really wanted to read it, so I picked it up. But that's kind of what I'm doing. It'd be cool to see if anyone has any strategy, or if you just pick up what you feel. That's totally understandable too. But I love you all so very much, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye-bye!